The MI6 boats are chasing and catching up to Greybeard's motorboat. Ready to protect the secret crystal at any or all cost, Greybeard steered his motorboat with a last-minute adjustment toward a head-on collision with the ocean liner, and then laid down in the front of the boat. The ocean liner struck Greybeard's boat amidships, breaking it in two, accompanied by a huge fireball explosion of the rear portion that the amazed MI6 agents took as his epitaph. They stayed and searched the area, but found no trace of Greybeard. They put a hand over their hearts and saluted the brave tow quester, then headed back to shore in disgrace. "That's 2 tanks for the memories," said Greybeard, underwater, with bubbles coming out of his mouth as he assembled the last of his scuba gear. Tanks, fins, and mouthpiece, noting the raging firestorm up above. He swam on, 30 feet submerged for a kilometer or two to vacate the area, then sat down on the bottom of the sea and drank the amber fluid, beer. "Here's to the secret crystal. May it never fall into the wrong hands." It was no use. Propat, in his hang glider, was going to fall into the ocean. He could sense the moisture, almost taste the brine, and was going to swim with the smell of the fishes. Propat was ready to yin his yang in the fine way that he lived, in the black, all the books balanced except for a spot of white in the darkness of the yin. What's that below? The landing lights of the Ninja aircraft carrier's heliopad flashed on in the glorious pattern of heaven, heat, and light, combined with earth, dark and cold, each revolving around the other, the yin-yang symbol of a cyclic and rounded life. And Profat dropped 30 feet and gave one last push forward and landed just as the aircraft carrier's lights went back off.
"Welcome," Professor said, a voice in the wilderness of the darkness of nothing. "Breeze die down, so we come to you at full power."
"I'll show you a thing or two. 5, said Prof, pointing a pencil into the inky blackness of night.
Ouch! I get the point, but really now, Prof Pat, you just lived through great experience of glory of life.
To die for glory is not living.
Man who faced death, appreciate life more. This good training for future of save Yiniverse and Yangiverse.
Well, that is my questionable long and arduous search.
See, Quest Great Expedition, I train you a number of things. I'm 9.0 degree Grandmaster.
Hurry up, Michael, Trish said as her balloon began to lift off, its rope still dragging on the ground past him. "Come with me to the Emerald City." Just then, the basket left the ground. Michael grabbed onto the rope and ran with it for a while, thinking crazily that he could somehow climb up it. There was only one problem. He was afraid of heights. Nevertheless, love conquered fear, and so he held onto the rope as it gently lifted him off of the ground. He soon had second thoughts, however, and panicked, realizing that he was almost getting too high to let go. He looked down and saw a barnyard filled with soft hay, and so, giving up the stunt as hopeless, let go of the rope and fell a short and harmless distance to the ground, but missed the hay, landing smack in the middle of the pig's feeding area. His once white suit was now as black as coal in the nothing of a void at night with no moon.
Miles passed and Smiles frowned as Austin in his yellow Corvette convertible spotted the relentless CIA stalker cars, now tracking close behind again, ever hunting the prey as shadows following the hound and horses tracking the day. The peak of the Chicago Skyway was approaching and a bright orange full moon was just rising, the great pumpkin moon rising. Austin ran through the toll booths and stopped just beyond, mesmerized by the clue of the moon for a small, tiny fraction of a split microsecond. This is the end of the road. Sure enough, 3 CIA cars were approaching from either direction. Sad to say that there is a time when we know we've lost, although we've lived well enough without much regret. The time when the angel of death comes to prematurely claim our soul, but this was not one of those times, and so Austin turned his yellow Corvette sideways and drove toward the Skyway railing, saying goodbye to his dear Corvette, standing up in his seat as he crashed into and over the barrier, then pulled the parachute ripcord and floated downward, steering his parachute under the bridge to avoid being observed and shot at, bringing the rising moon back down with him, putting it in his pocket, and landed roughly on the top of a black Ninja limo that soon carried him off into the night, the secret now very much safer. They ran to the center of the clearing. They had gotten to it about a minute or two early. Our punctuality may have cost us our lives, Analog.
Yes, but I hate being late, Rascal.
Sure enough, they could see movement behind the tree line. Here they come. The enemies emerged, still too far away to fire, but fired anyway, moving inexorably closer. Rascal and Analog moved back a bit, this but a futile gesture. They were ready for death.
It's been a blast, Rascal.
It's not over yet. Suddenly, the enemy troops began to slow, then stumbled and fell to the ground. I placed my last canister of nerve gas back there, Analog, knowing that the wind was blowing slowly this way, even though it will soon be upon us, granting us death as well. Rascal then felt a slight tingle, as did Analog. Don't worry, Analog, it's just some stray molecules of the nerve gas wafting on ahead.
I'm not worried, but I do see more enemies arriving from another direction. We may not die from the gas, but from bullets.
Time slowed to a crawl, so close yet so far.
Any more tricks, Rascal? The mass of the nerve gas is near upon us. The enemy draws closer to watch us die.
One last hope. There was a whir and a whoosh. The downwash of the rotor blades of Rascal's command chopper landing from on high spreads the incoming nerve gas outward, in fact propelling it towards the onrushing conspirators, which soon dooms them. That's why the early bird always gets the worm, Analog. The bunker buster missiles dug through the earth in Iran, exploding and destroying the nearly completed Iranian nuclear launch sites and energy plants one by one. Fired by British, US, and Israeli jets, soon after most of the SAMs, mobile and stationary, had been neutralized. Russia immediately sent out interceptor jets, but our spent attack jets had already flown west and had thus evaded them, eventually landing on aircraft carriers in the Persian Gulf. Yet the Russian jets still attacked our fleet there, first engaging missiles of our own. Then Aegis descendant computerized firing systems more than decimated the incoming Russian jets. Cruise missiles continued to pour into Iran, leveling much of the Persian culture that had withstood 100 invasions by melding with the conquerors. The helicopter then gained as much altitude as it could, and then the fuel gave out. Great Mother of England.
Hold on, I see the ship racing out.
We're going to land on a freighter without a landing pad with no fuel?
The rotors will slow our descent.
Not good enough.
I turned off the fuel when I heard a sputter. We probably have about 30 seconds worth left.
And you're going to turn the engines back on just in time.
Yes.
You are certainly a fearless leader, Robert. The freighter was just making it into international waters, running at flank speed now, with the gliding copter heading dangerously downward for it. Is this going to work?
No sweat, I play video games.
Cripes. Is the freighter going to slow down or stop?
No, that would look suspicious.
Double cripes. The two moving crafts were converging rapidly. I never thought calculus would be of any use, so I didn't take it.
Neither did I.
The helicopter was literally spiraling down to the rendezvous to crash as Robert restarted the engines, slowing it somewhat, then a bit more. The freighter crew had removed some railings to give some more room to land. The copter hovered, then fell the last few feet as the fuel gave out, then slid a few feet over toward the open edge, the right side hanging out over the sea.
Quick, rascal, move to my side and follow me out.
They got out and noted the helicopter teetering and tottering. Robert put one finger against it, pressing no harder than the force of a butterfly's wing flap, and sent it sliding into the sea.
Don't need this piece of junk anymore. Have to get rid of the evidence anyway.
The Egyptian road may be long and hard, but there is a soft, sweet valley at the end. The flowers bloomed once again. The born-again operative, Frederick, walked for miles on the sand, not an easy thing, then headed toward a weathered and sinking sphinx-like monument, noting, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things. The hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear, My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away." Percy Shelley. The operative added further to this meaning. All that you love and cherish will one day be gone. Even all of the works of human beings will disappear in time. Everything with which we adorn ourselves shall ever dissipate and vanish. Yet, he strode on, near dead. All that you love and cherish will one day be gone. Ah, but not yet, thought Frederick, not yet. The secret chronicles continue, now far from what we would call reality, lying betwixt the enchanting masks of light that dwell about and between the frames of our living film. Magic Dragon sat back and read this amazing report, sent by his operative, Frederick, who had somehow been reborn back into the glory of the living this life. Gollum had dragged me, Frederick, into the concealed burial chamber of the Queen of the Pyramid, herself nearly half as old as time. Yes, the Egyptians almost had it right, with their potions of elixir brewed to wake the dead, but they erred in embalming and wrapping the deceased, thereby ensuring that they would never wake, thus their Book of the Dead, rather than a Book of Life. My heart fluttered back toward life from the 3,000-year-old aroma of the chamber's tonic air that was the very spirit of life.
This is true, my love, that the lightning again flashes in the light of your eyes. The clouds in my own heart explode with the soft new beating of yours. This is true, my love. Your sweet lips become as red as those of a blushing bride. This is true, my love, that the seed of the tree of life once again flowers within you. Your mind awakens to follow the guiding rhythms of my own pure soul. The night shall ever weep dew at your sight upon the earth anew, and the morning will surround you with the dawning light of life's delight. This is true, my love, that the touch of your warm breath intoxicates your every being of life into and out of my spirit as well. This is true, my love, that the world will yet know your melodious songs. Go forth, my dear twice-born one, to walk the earth once more, and help to bring evil to its knees.
Hark, I hear the whispering rotors. Stay down. Choppers were coming up the slope of the Alps, the cannons blasting the area about the power station. Troop ships followed, Section 7 rappelling down to the ground a short distance away from the power station. A snowmobile exploded but 200 feet away from Ostino and Passiona. Way off in the distance, they could see skiers wearing rifles passing by at the point where the traveled trail had met the cliffs. I believe I saw the general in that first chopper.
The guy loves to be close to the action.
And so do we to each other.
Kiss me. A personal assistant entered the director's office, pouring a cup of tea for him. And then placing the teapot back down, where it would likely stay or be replaced to after refills. Top Secret focused her camera telescope on the shiny silver teapot or the teacup, whichever was more useful at the time. Yes, there was his computer screen reflected in it. Top Secret's camera rolled the video and the photos clicked away as well. DIA would reverse and straighten the images. People had to drink. A coffee mug would have worked too, as it did when the director worked late. The plans of evil came rolling in, those tempests in a teapot, day by day, via the simple use of a human eye defeating all the conspiracy's high-tech countermeasures.